Thanks, Seaside. Okay. Marianne Williamson. She needs no introduction. She has been a leader in the transformational movement for over 30 years. She is the founder of Project Angel Food, co-founder of the Peace Alliance, founder of the Sister Giant Conference, and her latest book published is The Law of Divine Compensation on Work, Money, and Miracles. I'm going to go get that book right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marianne Williamson.
So much. Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everybody. So theoretically, happy birthday to a new era in human history, yeah? Somebody once pointed out a fact in nature that I find fascinating, and that is how a chicken knows that it's time to hatch. How does a little chickie know that it's time to start pecking its way out of the egg? I'd never thought about it before. Well, scientifically, what happens is that when it is time for the chicken to hatch, when it is time for the chicken to be born into the world, a noxious gas fills the inside of the eggshell. It is literally dying to be born. It literally must exit out of the eggshell and go out into that next phase of its existence. And it does seem that that's a little bit like what is happening to humanity. There have been other times in history. There have been the times of the Renaissance, the times of the Enlightenment, times when humanity began to think differently. You have a different world when you at one time think that the sun revolves around the earth, and then you come to realize that the earth revolves around the sun. It's a different world when you go from thinking that the earth is flat to realizing that it's not. It's a different world when you think that illness just comes from rumors in the air, and then come to understand that it comes from germs. It's a different world when you have the mass of humanity knowing that no matter what they do, they will be serfs or they will be slaves. They will simply be in service to an order outside themselves over which they have no control. And then they come to the realization that heaven doesn't have to be just something after we die, but that they can be in control of their own destinies. And the profound revolutions, both in this country and around the world, that came from that idea that humanity could be in charge of its own destiny. And this is simply one more in one of those amazing magic moments of human history when we go from one way of looking at the world to another. And it's a very, very important thing what is happening here today, both here at Agape and around the world. When people claim it, when people stand in it, when people invoke the boldness that Stephen Dinan was talking about, when people embrace the vision that Barbara has been talking about, when people are willing to stand in that space and say, this era shall be born and it shall be born through me. Because as my friend Mary Morrissey once said to me, God cannot do anything for us that he cannot do through us. And so we do not just passively, you know, it's exciting to me as a woman. There were so many ages when we didn't get to contribute our voices. And so without our voices, there was not our language, our imagery. And so now, just as Neil was saying, women's intuition has been borrowed. Now this imagery of birth has been borrowed. That's wonderful that men as well as women are claiming birth as an imagery. But there's something that perhaps we need to explain to the men. It hurts like hell. And so while we're going through all of this wonderful invocation of new birth, let us not kid ourselves. Labor is hard. And we're going to do more than just have to invoke our boldness. We're going to have to do more than just invoke a vision. We're going to have to invoke our courage. Because let me tell you something. When we go out there in our way and we say we want there to be peace on the streets, the National Rifle Association is not going to just say, oh, okay. And when we say we want there to be sustainability, the oil and gas industries are not going to just say, oh, okay. And when we say we want to wage peace on this earth as our primary problem-solving modality, the military-industrial complex is not going to just say, oh, okay. And that's an important thing for us to remember today. Because the shadow side, I think the shadow side of our movement sometimes is that we keep ourselves infantilized. We keep ourselves infantilized by sometimes, and I've noticed among my colleagues, they're not that way off stage, Off stage, they know what's going down. Just like when we're out of these rooms, we know what's going down. We need to have more of a conversation about what's really going down in these rooms. Because it's necessary in us because we need to invoke more than boldness. We need to have more than vision. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to need some courage in the days ahead. Because if you're going to stand for true sustainability, and you're going to stand for true peace, and you are going to stand for all of the things that people are talking about here today, in these rooms, everybody's going to applaud you. But these rooms are not the only rooms in this world. These rooms are places where when we talk about true sustainability and true peace on earth and true love is the bottom line, it is important that we will be applauded in these rooms because we are going to need, just like a boxer has to go back to the corner every once in a while, we are going to need to know that we have the support system of our community. We're going to need to know we have the collaborators in this community. But we are also going to need the people here in this room among us, our true community and our true support system. And when we make real what we're talking about here today, and we go out into the world and they spit at us and they criticize us and they humiliate us, the people in this room, we will surround each other and we will say, you go, I am with you. I got your back, I got your side, I got you to your left and I got you to your right. I got you in front of you and I got your back behind you. And there are angels who are posted all around you because we are giving birth to something together. And even though birth is difficult, once it's done and once that new baby, that new life is in your arms, you don't even remember that you went through it. But let's not kid ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Before Jesus resurrected, he was crucified. Before the Jews were delivered to the promised land, they were slaves in Egypt. Before any era of humanity has given birth to what was possible, they had to first go through the struggles of what had been before. And anytime any of us individually in our own lives, in our own personalities, and in our own hearts give birth to something new, we have to die to who we were. What has happened now is that the time has come. I'm not saying that you and I are perfect, but I'm saying that history seems to be saying we're good enough. We're good enough. It's not that you're perfect or I'm perfect, but if you put it all the things that you have accomplished in your life together with all the things that you've accomplished in your life, all the things I've accomplished, and by accomplishment I mean where you used to be weak, you're strong now, and where you used to be harsh, you're gentle now, and where you used to be just putting yourself down all the time, you are now risen up in self-confidence. And we know that we don't have to be totally perfect because my brother is to my left and my sister is to my right. And the people who are my true friends are right in front of me, beckoning me forward, and the people who I know are loyal and will not dismiss me or betray me are to my back. Then we know we're ready for birth. This is the real thing. This is not just, oh, let's all be bold. This is, oh, let's go, kick ass. Thank you very, very much. God bless you, everybody. Bye, bye, bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is a delight now to introduce the next performer. A woman who I originally saw, I was with my friend Andrew Harvey, who has had much to do with bringing her to audiences such as this one. She is not only a marvelous performer as a dancer, but she is dancing in a shamanic, spiritual, ceremonial way. Banasheh El Sayed is beautiful on every level. She will take you to a place where perhaps many of us have never been before through the auspices of dance. I want you to know her CDs are outside. You can find out more about her at her website, namah.com, Namah. Give her the welcome that I promise you will feel in your heart once you see this woman dance. Banasheh El Sayed.